Multiple Republican insiders, advisors, and strategists recently spoke to the Hill on the condition of anonymity to essentially sound the alarm bells over the fact that next year's midterm elections are effectively going to be a bloodbath for the Republican Party. And I don't disagree with them. And in fact, we're getting reports like this probably 2 to 3 times a week at this point. Okay, this is not shocking. Nobody who clicked on this is watching it should have been like, oh, what? We get it. But what I love about this is the way Republicans are now just kind of accepting that this is the way it is, and that's why I want to talk about it. This is from one, again, unnamed Republican strategist who said, quote, "I think, and we're still a year out, what these numbers look like is a throw the bums out election. If everyone is discontented with both parties, there's going to be an anti-incumbency sentiment." He's right. That's what happens. Because, as I've said a lot of times, even the Democratic Party right now is at a historically low approval rating. Their approval rating is lower than the Republicans' approval rating. So how can all these polls show that Democrats have between an 8 and 14-point lead in next year's midterms? Because it's not about people realizing we like Democrats more. It's about people saying, well, the people in charge suck. This is our only other option, so let's go. They're not switching over to the Democrats or favoring the Democrats because they like them better. They're doing it in hopes that they will provide better results than what the Republicans have. Because I've seen a lot of conservative influencers say, oh, we don't have to worry because the Democrats' poll numbers are worse than Republicans. Trump says that. But it's not about liking this group or disliking this group or hating everybody equally. It's about voters saying, we tried this, it's not working. We only have one other party option, so we're going over here. And when you look at it in those terms, obviously that makes much more sense than just saying, but Democrats are hated, they can't win. Well, they can, they will, they have, they are. So there you go. But these strategists also point to not just the November 4th elections where they got their asses handed to them, including in deep red states like Georgia and Mississippi, but also this week's election in Tennessee. Democrats shouldn't have even had a fighting chance. And then Republicans ended up, basically crapping their pants for the 2 weeks leading up to the election because the Democrat had closed the gap in the polls. Something they never expected. And I think that's something a lot of us never expected to happen. But this is where we're at. Republicans have control of everything. You control everything, and yet nothing is working. You cannot go into an election year having broken everything, with nothing functioning, the American public squeezed to the breaking point economically, and even think that you have a chance. Like, that's just the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. But they think they have a chance. At least on the outside they do. On the surface, Trump does. The conservative influencers sure as hell seem to think that. But none of them are smart. Literally none of them are smart. The strategists, on the other hand, the insiders, these are people that do have brains. They just have ass-backwards political beliefs. They know what's coming. They're warning about what's coming, and a year from now, they're going to be the ones sitting there looking at the Republican Party telling them, I told you so. Now what are we going to do? And hopefully the answer is become decent people. Stop trying to give more money to the wealthy elite by taking it away from the working class. Do the exact opposite. Give people health care. Stop giving corporations everything. Stop launching new wars like with Venezuela. Be normal, good humans, Republicans. That's all the voters want you to do. But you guys are incapable of doing that. And honest to God, it just blows my mind every time. Not that I'm expecting you to change, but the fact that the change is so simple. You could right the ship. You could avoid this midterm massacre by just being good people for 5 damn seconds. But you're not even capable of doing that. Scientists recently discovered a new evolutionary trait in puppies, and it's that they cannot grow up and reach their full potential unless you subscribe to this channel. Don't do it for me, folks. Do it for little Atlas and Judge here. Good boys. You do good. You want to say something? No? Okay.